Hi, welcome to another edition of MTG Playback. I'm Mark. I'm an actual pastor who plays Magic the Gathering, and this whole series is where I play a game on Arena and then talk about it afterwards. So I've been playing a green, white, blue toxic deck for a while, and I've decided that there's a couple other decks that I want to try, mostly Golgari or Dimir mid-range. However, my issue is that I don't have a lot of wild cards available. So that means I'm going to have to be grinding over and over and over again. So just to have some fun, I decided to make a new deck that I would like to build out once I get more rare wild cards. And it's a toxic rat deck. I had some fun playing that rat deck on my draft from yesterday's video, and so I'd like to play a toxic version of it and to see how it's going. So this is just a bunch of test games that I will be playing and just using a version of the deck that is missing a bunch of the cards. So I know this deck isn't going to do great, but I'm going to play with it and see what happens. So here's my opening hand. I've got 2 lands, and I've got a lot of 1-drops. So we're going to go into it and see what happens. Alright, so the idea behind this deck is to get a bunch of creatures, mill myself, and then have my other spells and other creatures bring things onto the battlefield. But I don't have a lot of those cards, so I'm just going to just use a bunch of rats and just to annoy my opponent. So, I'm going to just start milling them right off the bat. Alright, so I've got ambitious farmhand. So, are they playing soldiers? Are they playing something? But they've done swamp, so they're doing Esper, so I'm not quite sure yet exactly what they're playing. Decided to get my venerated rot priest on board. I like the setup, you know, I'm attacking, got my rot priest in. Gonna be able to use this new wicked, not dead yet, bringing this thing back onto board. And it targets it so they get a spell, and then they mill again. I like this combo. Okay. Wish it didn't come on the play tap, but that is what it is. So, looking good. Alright, they played their planes, and then here comes an Overseer. So, that's interesting. So, they're doing a bunch of card draw of some sort. Problem with a deck like this is that I don't really have a lot of big heavy hitters yet, or things that can generate a lot of poison quickly. So, let's get this blocker out of the way. And then see if I can get some things. But you already know I'm already down to 3 cards, so card draw is going to be an issue as well with this deck. Alright, another Overseer. And then I have this card called You Are Already Dead, which is a card draw engine. But not quite sure what to do with it yet. So, we'll bring in Gnawing Vermin. I'll just start putting things into the graveyard for them. Deciding what to do. Do I attack? Do I not? Do I attack? Do I not? I decide not to attack and just wait. See what my next card is. I only have 3 land. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. Then they bring this Combat Thresher that has double strike, which is interesting. Another Spirited Companion. Find more cards. Finally, okay, there's my next land. So I'm not quite sure what kind of deck they're playing yet. Yet they've gotten their lands. I'm kind of running out of cards, and they are not. So this is a little bit problematic. Now their deck is pretty slow, so is mine. So I decided to bring out this Trampler out, and again, just gonna kind of sit back and wait. Alright, here comes Shelly. And so I decided, let's see here, what's something I can do? So this is kind of, I have 2 cards here to get rid of one of theirs. But I do get to proliferate twice with it. So, we'll get it down. Interesting, by giving it -1/-1 till the end of turn, that's not technically dealt damage, so I can't use that to do any card draw, which is annoying. But we'll get it down. So I've gotten rid of Shelly. Feeling pretty good about myself. Trying to decide what to do, This deck doesn't have a lot of big creatures in it as well. Like, it's not... In theory, I should have a lot of, like, vermin. So I'm like, alright, I'm gonna attack. And they're gonna try to block everything. They are gonna... And their goal is simply to kill this. Alright, got them to 6 poison. That's something. Here's 7. Not bad. Another plains. They've got a lot of mana. They've got a lot of cards. I've got 1 card. It's not super helpful. And then they bring this Planewalker. And there goes my Broad Priest, which is just like theirs. So this is pretty problematic because it has 3, and I got so... You know, I do have some edicts. I have things on the board that can get rid of it, but I don't have it in my hand. So, like, I gotta do something here. So I get it down to 1. Feeling a little risky about doing this. I don't have any available mana, but I feel like I need something. Alright, they've got so much land. They've gained life. They're up to 3. They bring a Spirited Companion. I don't have anything with Trample. And then here comes another creature. More card draw. But that's okay for them, right? Here, they're going to destroy one of my creatures. That's annoying. So I'm going to destroy one of theirs. Kill one of their life. But I don't have... And then... So here's a Rot Priest, which is fine. It's not great. But I know, like, if I don't do... I see... It's not what I needed. I don't have Trample. They're just going to block it, and they're going to then transform my Shelly into a Spirit. And this is just a problem. So what I probably should have done at this point, since knowing they're going to do that, is destroy my own creature, but I didn't. Right? Like, well, they could have done either one. Alright, so they cast their own Sheroldred, but not the Apocalypse. So I've got to sacrifice something. Decide to sacrifice this. I don't know why. It was probably smarter to have sacrificed my own Shelly. Because now they got a version of it. Who is now going to be doing with my trick what I was doing with them. So I decided, let's see here. Okay, I can use this. I have a land. I've got something. You're already dead. I know at some point I'm going to hit to a point where there's just going to be a bunch of land in my deck. So I gotta try to decide to see if there's something. I decided to channel the Mire. And I thought I could get Shelly back, and then I realized, well, actually I can't, because Shelly was exiled. So I'm trying to see, what do I take? Do I take Bloated Contaminator? And then I decided to take a rat, and that was probably a mistake. I should have taken something big. Alright, they're going to transform Sheroldred. Each opponent has to sacrifice a creature. I don't have one to do it, but this is going to be a problem real fast and real quick. Next thing I gotta do is I gotta discard 3 cards and then mill 3 cards. And it's gonna get to the second one, the third part, where it's gonna be able to take all the creatures from all the graveyards and put them on the battlefield, and I've got nothing to stop it. So this is where one of the cards I am looking for. That would have been really, really helpful. One card that is the creature that turns all your rats toxic. Right? If I had that on the board right now, they're dead. But it's not. Alright. Alright, and then they bring Kaya back. Who's just gonna cause problems for me. And that's a swamp, which is not helpful at all. So do I go after Kea has 8. I can't do anything to knock it down very far. And I think this is it. So I've got nothing. And I've got nothing. So I know the game's way over. It was pretty much over once the Shelly was taken. I'll get it down to 14. They'll get up to 2, and then they're going to bring... Look at all those creatures. Look at all those creatures on the board. A lot of them from my deck, a lot of them from theirs. That's a lot of creatures. And now, all their enter the battlefield effects are going to have to kick in. So here we go. So I'm looking how many cards I have in my hand and how many they have in theirs. So now I'm like, oh, maybe they'll have so many cards coming on the field, then they'll destroy their, they'll mill themselves to death. But that's not going to be the case. Instead, they're just going to keep pumping their life, drawing cards over and over and over again. Which is frustrating, right? Like, and then I've got to sacrifice something, so I'll sacrifice. And just kill one of the creatures just for fun. When another creature dies, you know, this is one of the creatures. This Voration Vermin can get bigger in theory, but it doesn't serve any purpose here. You look at their board. They got 1,000,000 cards in hand. They're down to 17 cards in their deck. Now they're just killing fun. And you know, at this point, with they have 34 life, I know I'm dead. The game's over. Why not see it? Why not see what happens? I kind of want to see what it looks like to have all those creatures run at me. I mean, they're so small on the screen. Look how tiny they are. You can't even tell what they are. They're farming. They're just pumping the board. Just, you know, they got all this extra mana. They've got stuff they can do. I'm down to 5. I'm down to 3. I'll cast this one black spell. They're up to 42. And then they attack. And this is where I forgot one of their... I decided to do no blocks. And this is so anticlimactic. They have their one first strike, one creature that has double strike, and it kills me, and I am dead. So, that's it for that game. I think you see where the deck is trying to go. Put a bunch of rats on the field, give them toxic, just overrun the opponent. I do have a lot of removal in there that didn't show up much in this game, but in-card draw is always going to be an issue. But anyways, I think this deck is interesting. I think this deck is fun. It was neat also seeing my opponent go buck wild and just throw everything on the field. And so let me know what you think. I think one of my big mistake was not sacrificing my own Shelly when I had the chance. So I need to really learn how to use my cards well when I'm targeting myself. Thanks for watching this edition of MTG Playback. Continue to like and subscribe. Leave comments if you are able. And I'll see you next time. And let's see how this deck does against maybe Mono Red or Dimir or White Soldiers or whatever else is out there in the standard metagame. Take care.